Welcome to Witching Hour on your Nirvana. I'm Lucy. This is Katie, Steve, and we got Caesar tonight, our guest for tonight.
Hey.
So tonight, first, before I keep going, did you guys like my little intro? I just made it, Steve.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
We were not using this, so this is a new one on our 4th episode.
I was trying to look over my shoulder, make sure that there were no demons behind me.
So funny.
It might be.
You never know. Hi,
Corner somewhere over there.
Well, tonight, Caesar will be telling us some stories, followed by Steve and myself that I had already, the past years, I have talked about, which Caesar and Katie might not know. So, I can't wait to tell you guys. It's kind of creepy. So, let's start. And then I think I want to show a video too that if I can figure it out. If not, Katie, I think I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But a video that I saw and I'm like, oh, I want to play it, like, and then talk about it because it's from San Bernardino. But we'll see how things played out and we can keep going. But for now, our guest of honor, Caesar. I saw we were in the group chat and I saw that you had a show and I was like, oh my God, I got excited. I was like, oh my God, he has a show too. Like he's doing it, and I right away I said something and we got in contact and we started talking about that you're into this paranormal stuff too and like to talk about experiences and things like that. So I got excited and I was like, okay, we have to have him on the show and we need to do something. I don't know, but and you got some people here already.
Yeah.
But yeah, yes, tell us, talk to us.
Well, first of all, shout out to Angela. Angela is she helps run the community. It's a nursing home, actually. It's a nursing home in Prairie Meadows, Texas.
Ooh.
And they watch our show every Tuesday. They all gather like in the commissary, like 30 deep, and they put us on the big screen. They watch us every Tuesday on our podcast, which is fantastic. I said I need each one of them to log in individually, so it looks like we have more viewers. But they're working on it. So thanks, Angela, for following me here. Yes, so I am part of the Comic Menu podcast every Tuesday night at 9:15 Eastern on Facebook, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And we're a comic-based podcast. But this past Tuesday, due to the spooky month, we had a show about ghost stories. And we had a couple of guests come on. It was an open mic night, so anybody who was in the comments could come on the show and tell their story and then bounce. And we had a couple of good ones, people. We had one that a friend of ours jumped in and really gave me goosebumps. Or what did they say? The chicken skin,
Yeah.
Whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to repeat it if it makes any. Can I repeat his story because it made me pee a little bit.
Go ahead.
It made me pee a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm bracing myself. So, no water next to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You're going to lose a little bit of liquid somewhere. So he was talking about how one night around 2:00 in the morning, he got a voice message on his phone. Did not miss a call. Didn't hear a call. Clear signal. No reason for it to go straight to voicemail. He listened to it and he said it was very garbled, not very clear, staticky. He said it sounded like as if you were running water underneath a speaker underneath a water tap.
What?
Right? And all he heard was someone say, "Help me." And that's all it was.
Heck no.
That's all it was. No number left, nothing. It didn't come from a number. It was just a voicemail. So later that week, he went to go see a friend who apparently lived in a haunted house. And he was talking to this friend of his, and his grandmother was there as well. And he said, you wouldn't believe this wackiest thing happened to me. I had this weird voicemail that was left on my phone. And all it said was, help me. And the grandmother turned around and said, around what time was this? One, he says, around 2 a.m. And she says, a couple nights ago, I had a dream that someone was drowning me in the bathtub. And I woke up with marks on my neck, like
Oh, snap.
choke marks. Not
Wow.
family. We're talking about a friend.
Oh, I get chills.
That's what I'm talking about, right? And when he
Oh,
told me
I
that story, I went through like three pairs of Depends because
oh my gosh.
Oh
it
my
it
God.
it there's something very creepy. There's
DJ
something very
Watts. What
creepy
up, brother?
about voices that you can't explain. That's why EVPs to me are my favorites. EVPs are my favorite because to hear something that's not there, where there's no
Yes.
one around, but you hear something, this is
Evan, what's
why
up?
I told everybody in the podcast how many stories are going unsaid because they're afraid to tell it because they're afraid to look crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Super
so they
Yeah.
keep it they keep it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But how many stories are being unsaid for
Yeah.
our entertainment, for our spookiness? Because they're
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not going to bother because they're going to think I'm crazy,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, that's the one else. I have one, but I want to give somebody else a chance because I don't want to blow my load right away. Come on, guys, let's share alike.
Gotta give us
Great figure,
time
Steve.
to change out the depends every now and then.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I
oh,
had
Yeah.
to. I think I had to go, guys.
yeah. Steve, you have few stories that I know some people haven't heard, but tell us whatever story you want to give
Oh,
us.
okay.
Go ahead.
So Lucy knows about this story. I said this the prior year. Jeff knows about this too. Brian LCS in the building. Don't forget to cast your votes.
That's right.
Jeff knows about this story. I told Jeff. I caught him up. I think 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about it. So about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, um, I used to go to jujitsu. When I would come back late, Lucy knows her husband takes jujitsu. I'm sure he comes back late at night. You stay there for a while, um, and I got done training. It was already like 10 o'clock in the evening, late at night. Like getting towards 11, and I let my father park in my guest or my in my spot, so so he doesn't have to find a spot. So I park in a guest spot in the front. I'm nose out, and I'm sitting in my car like unwinding, and I end up it's like getting closer to 11. I end up getting out of my car. I grab my bag, my gym bag from the back, and I come to the front, and I'm walking towards the front. Now, where I live at, it's not a gated community. It's gated, but everything's open, so you can get in. There's no passwords, no nothing. So as I'm walking to the front,
Wait, this is the street thing?
so the main street, it's a main
Okay.
street, but you can go in to the front. There's a front, and so that's a main street. So I'm walking towards the main street to go walk around my car towards the front. Because if I walk towards the back, there's like a little wooded area, and I would fall. I mean, there's a slope. So I'm coming to the front, and I notice this Caucasian blonde woman like at the stop sign in my area, like right like in the front, and she's like pigeon toed, slouched over. Her blonde hair is covered in her like her face, and I'm thinking like, okay, we live across the street from a bowling alley. Maybe some drunk lady came, and she's just out of her mind. She's probably drunk, whatever. But we also like in the hills of Simi, where I live at, we have like this massive like heroin epidemic, right? Um, so I see her, and she just gives me the heebie-jeebies automatically. I get this like anxious, um, like feeling of dread, and I have like my bag. I'm like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And nothing. Like she's not saying anything to me. She's just slouched over. Her head's, her hair's blocking her face. I can't even get a look at her. She's pigeon toed. She looks like Gothica. Remember Halle Berry in Gothica, where she goes to the girl in the rain and she grabs her, and then then she wakes up and nothing happens, right? So I'm trying to ask this lady, ma'am, are you okay? Do you need help? Do you live here? Like I'm trying to ask her questions, nothing. And all of a sudden, like I feel like it's best to kind of move away. So like I know not to go over there and like move her. I've seen enough scary movies. I'm like, yeah, no way, Gothica. I'm not Halle Berry. So um she's sitting there and I just start moving backwards just to keep my eye on her where I'm like starting to go to where my condo is. But it takes like a little slope. So for her, she's at the very top. There's a slope coming down, but where I live, there's just levels. So you just walk through. So it takes someone a while to run down to the next stop sign. Where for me, I can go through the area and I can end up where I need to be. So I just get this, like anxious feeling to run. So I start like running. I start booking it, and I come across where our turn is, and she's all the way up at the hill. I don't see anything, but as I'm running, I'm running down. I see my dad's car parked, and I looked at the stop sign, and she's there. She's at the other stop sign. Same positioning, same just uh, slumped over, same hair covered in face. And so I'm running. I get to to the front door, and my dad's waiting on me. He's like, "What's wrong with you? What do you look like? You saw a ghost?" I was like, "I think I did." And I'm like, I just there was this lady, and I was like, that was just I don't know what for whatever reason, but she's clear as crystal in front of me, like you and me. Nothing like apparition like, nothing like ghost like, just this live person in front of me. So like I chalk it up as like, okay, that's a good scary story. That's one that was pretty, like it got me going. Like it got me anxious, and I've had a lot of other scary encounters. Being on Lucy's show, I have a cousin that's just a beacon for these things. I have another cousin in Vegas that's had some crazy stuff, but this like happening in my area, it's just a little different for me. So like 2 weeks ago, this happened. So this happened 7 years. So we're revisiting it maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So I just think of it as an event that happened, right? I put it in the back of my mind, and I live in a condo, so there's like a HOA. Uh, the HOA is high, to California standards. So I think when you own something, you have a thing about like, hey, I want to make sure the place is. If I'm paying whatever I'm paying, I want to make sure the place is kept up. So and we live right next to a school, so kids usually come over. So it's already like at 4, and this older lady that's lived here since like the beginning. She does like since the late '80s when they put these condos together. So she complains about everything. So she's in the pool. She's getting ready to leave, and I come in. I'm checking the restrooms. I'm making sure everything's taken care of. And she goes, "Hey," she goes, I always forget your name." She goes, "What's your name again?" I go, "Steve." And so we start talking, and she goes, "You've been here for a while. I know you've lived here for a while." And I was like, "Yeah, it's been like 10 years, 15 years, somewhat."
Oh, so this is your neighborhood nosy Karen?
Yeah, yeah. She complains about everything, everything, anything she can get. But she's older. It's an older community, and they're trying to phase people out with these HOA fees that go up, right? So she's talking to me, and she goes, "I remember when this place used to be so, like the prices were cheap. They could get things done. You didn't have to like run behind people." And she goes, "You've been here long enough." She goes, "Do you remember when um oh, I got the chills just thinking about this." She goes, "Do you remember that there used to be a condo or two where people used to make drugs and sell them?" And I'm like, "No." Because where I live like towards the very right in the back. So I don't see anything going towards the front, right? So where I was running, I was like towards the back of the to the right side, near like the middle. So I don't see anything coming to the front. I don't hear anything. It's very, it's rare that I hear something. So she goes, "Yeah." So there was a condo up front, and she goes right up front, and she goes, "There was this couple," and she goes, and they had another friend that were living with them. She goes, oh, like maybe she goes, you just probably barely moved in, and it couldn't have been that. And I think she's too old to know that. I've been here longer than that. And she goes, okay, so she goes, two of the guys that were there got arrested. The cops came. I guess the neighbors were calling because they just started noticing a lot of bad activity. There was just noises going on towards the front, so they were causing ruckus for that other little neighborhood. Like the condos are in fours, right? So you could see in each other's. It's like a square, so everybody's there. And she goes, so two of those guys that were running like drugs. She goes, they had one of the guys had a girlfriend, and I'm like, oh really? He's like, yeah, she died, and I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, she died of an overdose, and she died in the bathroom. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't remember that. I was like, what did she look like? And she was like, yeah, she was a blonde girl. She goes, really pretty. She goes, but she just got into it with this guy, got into drugs, and just ruined her life. But she died of an overdose. And so I'm sitting there and I'm putting two and two together. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that is who I saw during that time frame. And I just got scared because I was just like, I got like the goosebumps because it just hit me when I asked her, like, where was that at? And she was like, oh yeah, just towards the front. I'm like, right in the front. She goes, yeah, they were the house, like the second house to the left. And I'm like, okay, so not my side, the other side. No wonder I didn't hear anything. And that was it. I just chalked it up. I came back, my dad, and I was talking to my mom and dad. I'm like, remember that time where I came running in here, scared shitless, and you guys were like, oh, it's all in your mind. You didn't see anything. I'm like, let me
That's
just break this
crazy.
down for you. And so I'm telling them the story, and they're like, oh my God.
So that's pretty much like who you saw. You saw her, but you
Yeah.
didn't know she had passed away.
Yeah. And I
Oh
try to
my
really like
gosh.
rationalize these things, like these things that happen to me.
Your
I,
your
I
parents
try
are
to
like
rationalize.
this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're throwing
Well,
holy water on your ass.
yeah, I just told you we live across the street from a bowling alley. So
Yeah.
rationalizing it would be like, oh, somebody came from
Probably.
happy
Yeah.
hour, got drunk,
Yeah.
across. Maybe they're walking back home and they're lost, or maybe somebody in the front is trying to look to get to their house or their condo. But
Wow.
the feeling that night when I was there and in that situation, I felt like I wasn't welcomed. I felt
Yeah.
like anxious, just a sense of dread. Like I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't
Yeah.
Wow.
supposed to kind of meddle with that. Um, but to know that, like, to kind of put it back together, because I told you, Lucy, a while back,
Yeah. Yes, you did.
and you were just like, "Oh, that was scary." She goes, like that was scary, and I didn't think nothing of it. I'm trying to rationalize everything. I'm like, "Ah, chalk it up as a loss." I'm over here looking online, like this, like
Mhm.
through, like our city. You know how like apps right now, like city apps, or you can go online and do your local town. So I was looking. I'm like, was there a car accident out there? Like, was there, like
Something else
some
not being part
interaction?
of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and
Wow. That is so
now
creepy.
that it's kind of come full circle, I was like, okay, that one was. It never happened to me again. Like, although, like, I don't think our area is quite haunted. It just, case in point, maybe there was something that just kind of revisited. Maybe it was the date that happened. I couldn't tell you. Um,
Yeah.
Not one of my more scarier like things, but it was like it felt good to
Dang.
kind of have it come full circle and come back around and kind of put those pieces together because
Dude.
when those things are
Yeah.
kind of left unsaid, they'll sit with you and they'll
Mm-hmm.
torture you,
I,
especially if
I,
they've kind of ingrained in your mind. The scenario is there. You don't have much to go off of. You can't just kind of move forward. It just
Yeah.
becomes one of those
I,
scary
I would have
occurrences.
made a vanilla shake out of holy water right after that if I were you.
Oh man, yeah.
Big,
Yeah.
A protein shake. I should have just
big
put holy
a
water.
protein shake with holy water and maybe some wooden crosses and just grind it up in that blender
Mhm.
because that's no bueno, my man.
Yeah, that was
Well,
that
Yeah.
was
what's what
Oh.
pretty
Steve left
pretty
out of
cool.
the story though is
What?
that he just smoked in his car and then walked out and saw it.
That's true.
He smoked the devil's grass.
Let me
that's a big key.
to my defense.
I bet I'm not wrong though.
They were only two lights. They were two light little
Steve.
contributions to
Oh my god.
to
Steve,
Diablo.
right now that you're telling me all this, like, I used to live right before we moved here. We lived in a condo, and our condos was exactly the way you're describing it. Like, it's in fours, like buildings of fours, like there's like 2 story. I mean, 2 floors, and the bottom there's like a condo, and then the top is another. There's 4, and I always dream, like a lot of my dreams, they come true. Or it's like a message. I don't know if you guys believe that stuff, but like a message that is trying to tell me, and it always happens. Like, not exactly like that, but it's, and I don't know, like a message. And I always dream about us going back living to that condo, but it's haunted, and I'm always scared, and I always run out of that condo scared. But sorry, see, were you done? I'm like stealing your
No,
turn.
No, you're good. You were just adding.
I always dream, like, and you're telling me like about your condo, like, and that's all I can picture. I'm like,
and here
like,
comes Jeff to add in. He's all the key component here. See, so like when I'm telling this story to Jeff, Jeff's more rational. Yet last week,
I'm just thinking he just smoked too much.
I remember. Yeah. He said that to me right off the bat. He's like, "Dude, you smoke too much." I was like, "No." I was like, a quick, fair amount, quick and go. But this guy will talk about a story that happened to him. He's like, it just knocked it back into play. Where he was like, "I know a horror story." I'm like, "You never told us."
Hey, I don't think of it, and they're not horror stories to me. They're just it happened. That's it. I don't get scared that easy. That's why.
Oh, I do. Oh my god. Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you want to share something, or we can go, or Katie, or
I don't have anything.
Back to Caesar's.
No. We can. Yeah, I told my story the last time I was in there. So yeah.
Okay, Caesar, you want to take it, and then after you, I'll go.
So I'm gonna repeat the story I said about my family on my last show.
Okay.
So those who've heard it, we have new audience here, so it's new to you guys. But for my other podcast, tough shit, you're gonna hear it again. So my family, I'm Mexican first generation, and my family is from Hermosillo, Sonora, which is it's a desert. It's the capital of Sonora, Hermosillo, and it's a desert city. It's borders Arizona. And my cousin. Now, see, it's one thing when you hear stories from other people. It's one thing when it's family. It's one thing when it's from someone that has absolute no reason for bullshit. There's no gain, right? And this is before social media. None of that existed. So this is just, I'm going to tell you a story. Check this out. So back in the day, when we had phones on the walls with the long ass telephone cord that you could walk around the whole house and talk to everybody.
Damn, he was. Boomer?
Oh, I'm old, my man. I may not look it, but I'm fucking old. I just finished my Maylocks on the rocks. So so he was on the phone talking to his girlfriend, and he was outside was a long hallway, and next to the outside was where they would wash the clothes. So he would talk on the phone and sit outside because it's cooler. Fucking Mexico's hot. So he was on his phone, and he saw these 2 ladies dressed in white, always in white. They're never wearing plaid or anything else. 2 ladies dressed in white walking on the street, and they passed by his house. Now his house, my aunt's house, is the kind where they had the big doors that open up. It has a carport and you close it, so it's big.
Oh yeah.
And so he saw these two ladies walk by once, and then they walk by again, and they walk by again. He goes, huh, I think these ladies are lost. And then he sees them walking on the sidewalk. So he tells his girlfriend, I'll be right back. You know, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to see if I could help them. They seem very lost. Hangs up the phone, goes to the gate, and he stops them. He says, can I help you? You look very lost. And they said, we're looking for someone. One woman said this. He goes, maybe I can help you. Do you know where she lives? And she said, you know, we don't. But all we know is that they live by the lavadero. And the lavadero is a place where the community would go and wash clothes. Mm-hmm. But now it's a basketball court. Mm-hmm. He did not know that. He had no idea. Okay. All right. So he's like, all right, well, if you want to wait for my parents to get home, maybe they know they could help you. They're like, no, it's okay. We're just going to keep looking. He's like, okay, where do you guys live? She says, we live by the Panteón, which is cemetery in Spanish. He's like, okay, whatever. So she starts walking away.
And it's already.
That's already a bad sign.
Right. But when you're younger, you're like, whatever, man. You know, you don't tell me where they live. You know,
let me get a notepad and write a scary story. You don't think about that.
Yeah, right. So he's like, all right, whatever. And as he's walking away, she goes, you know, there is something you can do for us. He says, what's that? She goes, will you pray for us? He's like, okay. Whatever you say, old lady. So he goes inside and he starts taking a shower and all that, and he stops dead in his tracks. He turns off the water, he wraps himself in a towel, and he runs across the backyard, which is attached to my grandparents' house. So they shared a big yard. Yeah. He walks into the house, walks into their bedroom, looks at a picture of the dresser. He says, I just spoke to that woman, and it's my great-grandmother who has not been around for ages.
Ooh. And probably never met.
Never. No, none of us have. Are you kidding me? This is my great-grandmother. It's one of those things that, and we all have, it all happens to all of us, where it hits you later. You know, he's probably taking a shower and going, God, man, she looks familiar. Where have I seen this woman?
Yeah.
And it just dawned on him because he's been looking at that picture on that dresser for God knows how long. Mm-hmm. So then we assume that the other lady that she was with, who was very weathered, she was never saw her face. She was sort of deformed and crouched. Mm-hmm. We're thinking that's my great aunt who suffered massive arthritis, and was all her hands were this, and she was hunched over.
Oh, dang.
So ever since then, my aunt thought they were coming around looking for her.
Wow.
So every night she would stand outside with the candle waiting, and they never came back. But she did pray for them.
Yeah. They're like, don't forget about me. Pray for me.
Kind of like what it is. But this
remind me of Coco.
Oh my God, I was gonna say the same shit.
Yeah. That's my cousin's story. It's a Mexican boy with a guitar going to hell or heaven.
It's not as nice a story as Coco.
It's not the nicest story.
There's no music renditions in the story. They're just.
But talking about what you were talking about, Steve, there is something about a physical means of not ghostly, not an apparition, not see-through, just. Yeah. For him to have a full-blown conversation with someone, is a league of its own.
Yeah,
right.
That's
it's a whole different thing. Now, if you don't mind, I have one more.
Go ahead.
So I grew up in LA, born and raised 49 years before I moved out to New Mexico. I'm from Wilmington, California. I'm from all that Long Beach, Carson. Wilmita, I'm all from that whole area. I worked at Memorial Hospital, which is the oldest hospital in Los Angeles. Built in 1923 or so. It was the first hospital.
What's the name of the hospital? I want to look it up.
God, I don't. It's LA County Hospital. LA County Hospital. beautiful art decor. It's been closed down because in 2006 they opened up a whole new hospital they built right next to it. So they had to evacuate all the building. They evacuated everything. And we had to go and remove, I worked in IT, so we had to go and remove all this stuff. And sure enough, phones that are not plugged in, people. Now fucking listen to me. Not plugged in, no power, no nothing, lighting up as if there's a call on hold. Sitting there. All right? I'm not joking.
Let me see. I just put Old Hospital. Is it this one? No.
That's it. So if you guys ever watched General Hospital back in the day, they would use the beginning. That's the hospital they used for the beginning.
That's the shot right there too.
This one?
Yeah, that's it. Gorgeous hospital.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys ever watched Ghost Adventures, this past season they did for the first time ever an investigation at that hospital.
Yeah, I don't like SAG, but
I worked in a psych ward.
Oh my god.
So
yeah.
But one day I said, you know what, F it, I'm gonna go up there by myself. Screw it. So I went up in the elevator. I went up to the elevator by myself, and the doors open up, and once again, I'm not shitting you guys, and I'm not making you guys up. I don't care if you whatever. The elevator doors open, and I shit you not, the flickering lights all the way down the hallway, and the hallway is completely pitch black, except for the exit on the other end. And I walk slowly, and I wear boots. So when I walk, you can hear my boots. So I'm like freaking myself out. You were looking through the windows of the wheelchairs in the middle of the room, just by themselves. Paper everywhere because they left all in a hurry. So trust me, that place is effed up, mofos. I think they're making offices out of them or something like that.
Yeah.
But I will say, places of trauma in a hospital is going to have tons of it.
Activity,
right?
Yes.
Trauma, anything with trauma, it doesn't help. So if once again, go watch Ghost Adventures. This last season, they did LA County Hospital. It's 100%.
I think it's gonna be an HBO then.
It's an old hospital. So that being said, people died there.
Yeah. So a lot of deaths. Doctors were shot. They were murdered by patients and all that good stuff. So you can imagine. So on the other, they had other buildings adjacent to the hospital where a lot of the interns would sleep. It was like a dorm for nurses and all that stuff. And there's a doctor who's a very old doctor who worked there. His assistant, who's been with him for many years, I was working on a computer. I said, hey, by the way, have you guys ever seen anything crazy around here? She goes, oh, let me tell you. Hold my beer.
Oh yeah, they're living on the other side, brother.
Like have a
She
seat.
says, apparently, one of the janitors was on the phone with his buddy on the hallway, and he saw this lady walk by, and she was kind of running because she was running late. And she said, he goes, hey, how you doing, Miss Johnson? And she's like, I'm running really late. And then she turns a corner or whatever. So he's on the phone. He's like, hey, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. I just saw Mrs. Johnson. I haven't seen her in a while. And he goes, what are you talking about? Ooh. She found her body weeks ago, dead in the car in the parking lot. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, she died, I guess, of a heart attack or whatever in the car at work. And he goes, but I just saw her walk by and said, I'm running late. Now, mind you, these are the residual hauntings, right? Not the intelligent ones.
Yeah.
So just because people don't necessarily have to die in a place to haunt, they haunt places that they call home. They haunt places they feel most comfortable.
Where they're attached
their energy.
Yeah.
Is what they're attached to. And for us, this lady, that work could be all she had. That's her happy place. That's what she probably worked there for. She was an older woman, so she worked there for God knows how many years for the county.
Yeah.
Remember that. And so it's like, oh, this house is old. Doesn't mean it's haunted. Right?
Yeah.
But you could buy a house from 2017, and if something very traumatizing happened in that home, that there's that chance. So yeah, I have other stories, but go ahead. I'm going to give you a chance there, Lucy. I don't want to hog the show.
No, it's okay.
13
Okay,
ghost
well,
shit.
I know. Oh my god, my hands are sweating. I get nervous. So okay, so
I'm sweating because I'm old.
maybe I'm getting there. That's why.
Woo, I'm
So
getting hot
this one.
flashes.
Oof. So yeah, like I said, wherever I have mentioned many times, like wherever my mom lives, like it's haunted and stuff like that. And I don't want to say I have some kind of like powers or anything like that, but like a lot of the times, like when I dream of stuff, like it comes true or there's some kind of message. Like, for example, a few years ago, yeah, it's been no, it's gonna be 4 years during the pandemic. Like a friend of the family, he was like a dad to me. He passed away. He lost his battle with cancer and he passed away. And I kept dreaming about him, not, and it's one of those things that's like, oh, maybe because he just passed away, you miss him. And he would tell me my dreams, like that I needed to go visit his wife. Like he will always yell at me because his wife, they were like very close, like growing up. Um, and I will visit his wife. Whenever like he'll see me at work and be like, you need to go visit her, give her a call. You need to go visit her. You need to go. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I'll go. I go. And so he passes away, and then he's in my dreams. I don't know if it could be like, my conscience telling me that, that I need to go visit him. And they will always, one thing that they will always tell me is like that, that they wanted me to marry his son. Right. And we dated for a little bit and they loved me and everything. And then he was, in my dream, then finally, I was dreaming about him. And I was like, okay, I called her. I went to visit her. I was visiting her and stuff like that. And then again, a year passes by and I kind of stopped. Like, I got pregnant with my daughter. We're going through stuff. So life, and I haven't visited her in a while. And then it's been a year and a half. And again, I started dreaming about him. But he was telling me to look for his son in my dream. He kept mentioning to his son. But then again, I'm like, why is he telling me this? And in my dream, I would tell him, I'm married. Like, and I'm like, I can't have a family. But he would tell me like very like insist on visiting his son, and and I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, but first I'm like, I don't even have that kind of relationship with him anymore. Like, I'm with his wife. Yeah. But with him, he has his family kind of, like he has kids. And few days that is dream that I had about him, and it was just kind of like from far away, and he's telling me, please just go with him, go to him. And I'm like, what the hell? After that dream, 2 days later, I ran into my aunt again. He was a family family friend, so my aunts, my mom, they all knew him. And my aunt told me, hey, have you heard that his son has no, not cancer. He's very sick. He has a heart problem, and they're not giving him much time to live. And I felt like the blood just go down my feet, and I was like, you're not gonna believe. Like, I don't know if you're gonna believe me, but I've been dreaming about his dad, and his dad has been telling me to go to him, but I don't understand. I guess I thought it was just a dream, And I called his mom, but this is again around, it's December already, last year. And I call her, but she's not, really talkative. Like I could tell, like she's busy or something. And when then it's Christmas. I haven't talked to her or anything. Christmas, New Year's passes, January. And she calls me. She finally calls me and she tells me that he passed away. Their son passed away. And I took it kind of hard because I was just kind of like, in my dream, like, I don't know, like a lot of my dreams that have come true. And before this, a lot other dreams that have, then I kind of put together the pieces, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what my dreams were like trying to tell me, right? And then this happened. It was just kind of like, for me, was like he was trying to tell me be there for his wife and be there for them or something. I don't know. And after that, yeah, I was like close, again, being with her and things like that. And I was just kind of like, I couldn't explain it. So now, like, kind of going back with my mom, like wherever she lives, like right now, her place right now, I'm so scared to go there because before she told me, like even the places that we had lived before she tells me something's happening, I already feel that something, the vibe feels weird in her house, like I get scared. And this house, like, I don't know, I was like, I don't know why I don't like going to her house. I always feel weird going in her house. It gives me a weird vibe. I get scared being at her house. Then later on, she tells me, well, it's haunted. It's haunted. A lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff has happened, here. And one of the nights that because I don't go there often, she lives literally 3 minutes from me driving. It's 3 minutes. She's around the corner. Here the blocks are big, so it's like a block, 2 blocks away. And I still don't go often. But I FaceTime her, I call her, and I was FaceTiming her. She's in her room, especially her room creeps me out. Her bathroom, to be specific. Her bathroom creeps me out inside her bedroom. And I was FaceTiming her. And I asked, like, I have siblings. So I asked, like, if one of the boys, my brothers, if they went in the room. And she's like, no. But she had like a smirk. And I was like, you're messing with me, right? Like somebody's there. She's like, no. I was like, Mom, I was like, somebody's there standing in your door frame or your bathroom. She's like, no. She wears glasses. That's why I could see somebody standing there. And she's like, no. She's like, nobody's there. I'm like, Mom, I screenshotted. This is my mom.
Yeah.
Hell no.
And that yeah, you can see, and that's the frame of her bedroom.
Oh, so creepy.
Yeah, I'm burning those glasses.
She doesn't have them anymore.
Oh my God.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I remember when you sent this to me, I was like, oh, you can't even see that.
Once again, evidence.
Yes.
Evidence that is not from anyone else other than someone personal, right?
Yes.
It's validation.
Yes.
But so that doesn't even look right. That person doesn't even look right.
Is that?
Like
I can't even see that it's a person. It's
like a hoodie,
definitely hood.
I don't know.
But is that the door frame or is that going like this?
It's like the door. It's the frame.
Do you see that one thing where it looks like it's going like that though? It looks like it's going like that. Maybe it's waving.
There shouldn't be two different pictures on a pair of glasses. Let's be honest.
No,
right?
It's a mirror. So why would one side would have the door frame with a shadow, the other one? So it's almost as if it's morphing.
I think it was also the way she was facing. It's kind of a little tilted. It's not directly to it's like a little to the side, but still,
I would tilt to the church. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So I screenshot it, and my mom, after I screenshot my mom turns like we're like this. She turns it. She's like, "Look, there's nobody here. There's nobody." There's nobody here. Like she's showing me, and I was like, Mom, and then she turns the camera, like, and I could still see that shadow there. And it's nothing that it could be, sometimes where there's something hanging or whatever that could be. There's nothing there that you can say it was the reflection, that it could look something like that in front of the freaking door.
No, and that was a freaking thing there.
My God,
that was something.
So
that's fire, lots of it.
Yes, my mom says that she hears a lot, like the plastic bottles. Like she had, like at night, she always hears a lot of activity, like, and she's kind of used to it. She's like, well, the longest doesn't do anything to me. I'm like, oh God, no.
Okay.
She says something. She feels like somebody's sitting to her, like on her bed. No, she sleeps for herself. My siblings don't go in there. She said they had the water bottle, the plastic ones, and you can hear, that crunching sound that it makes. She heard it. Yeah. She was like, I was so scared to turn around. She was like, I just looked, like, I covered my head and I just fell asleep.
That's exactly how it was in Vegas.
So things like that. And again, my little cousin, she has Down syndrome, and she went in one day She lives with my siblings, my brothers. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, but she sleeps with her door closed. She could hear if somebody goes in or something, But they all have experience. Katie, if you go on that group chat that I sent you, well, not right now, later, so you can see my brother. I sent a video.
Oh my
My
God!
brother did that one. He's sitting because there's so much activity in their house. He put the camera facing inside the kitchen, and they have a dining table right there, small dining table there. And he had just gone back from the groceries or something like that. He was gonna clean, and he had the camera there for that reason, because they wanted to see what was happening. Especially in the kitchen's always like noise and whatever. And you could see out of nowhere, like there's a dish rack, and one of the dishes just fall out of nowhere. And he's like, he's sitting on the table like doing something, and then he turns around. He's like, and then he looks at the camera like, okay. He's like, what the heck? But a lot of things happen at their house. And like I said, my little cousin, she has Down syndrome. She went one day inside my mom's room to go to the bathroom, and she came out of nowhere. She's non-verbal, so she was just like, like something scared her in the room, and she's like, oh, like she does not want to go in there anymore. She doesn't like going to my mom's house anymore. Because
I don't blame her.
Yeah, like, and then later my mom told me that before she moved in, a guy passed away. It was a family, and the husband like passed away, and he passed away in her room. That was his room, and he passed away. And I was like, probably it's him that, he wants to get noticed. Maybe the family's not praying for him. I was like, I'm like, Mom, have you asked him something? She's like, no, I don't even want to.
I would hire the Pope hourly to come visit my house.
Hopefully they'll be moving soon. I hope, because I seriously, that's one that I'm like, I have a little bit of evidence that I want to show you guys. But again, I don't like going because I felt like, and that was like one of my proofs that I was like, this. I don't want to say I have some kind of powers, but this is like, I know why they want to be there.
You have that like inkling that like you shouldn't be there, or
the vibes, there's something normal. Yeah.
There's I preached. I preach that we all have the gut instinct, but we all seem to ignore it. And so everybody has that gut instinct, and everyone should be more aware and listen to it more often. So in other words, when you're driving and your gut says make a right, but your mind goes, why would I do that? Because if I make a right, I'm going to go the long way. So I'm going to make a left. You make a left, and you get into an accident. And the first thing you think about is, damn it, why didn't I make a right? I mean, why that makes no sense. Why my gut told me to. Yeah. It's because we all have an internal warning system that we just have the tendency to just say, no, I don't think so. Wow, well that sucks. I would burn the picture too.
But on your computer and my computer and everyone else's screen for eternity.
It's like the ring. You got to listen to the you watch the video record. Yeah.
Remember that I told you like that happened during the time that I was doing the show. Like that I told you that I stopped because a lot of stuff was happening. Like remember, Steve, I was telling that I started in 2020. That I was going to do a long term, and then I ended up stopping because way too many weird stuff was happening. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do 5 shows a year.
The area that you're in, though, too. Like, well, I mean, us being in California, it's surrounded. Like you have so many haunted areas in California.
A lot of Indian. It was Indian land, So it's just like Native American. Like it's just.
How do you think I feel? I'm in New Mexico, for Pete's sake. It's everything is here is this place is haunted.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I've heard like some stories. I listen to like tons of podcasts.
Same.
Oh yeah.
I know for sure. I shouldn't put myself through it. I just find it fascinating. I know like Lucy's. I've told Lucy like tons of stories, and after the fact that I've been scared shitless, I usually just joke. I make joke of it. I make light of it, and then I just turn the page. But during that time, like those instances, I'm scared beyond belief. It's just It's just a horrible feeling, uncomfortable feeling. That like you're receptive to that for one, and the fact that you're like, I can't make that correlation between having it stop or having it continue. It just is.
Yep.
You're selected. You buy the ticket. You take the ride. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yes. Caesar, you say you have one. Let me see.
I do. You know,
Wow.
this was a sad one.
Mm.
Oh man, it's gonna hurt my feelings. Go ahead, tell me.
As I laugh. So we had a very good friend. I was with my girlfriend at the time, who became my ex-wife, which we never mentioned her name. I called her Voldemort, so we don't mention her name. So I was with Voldemort, and we had a friend who lives in Carson, California, and her house is straight up. I think it's a hostel for demons. But hey, what the hell do I know?
Maybe she was a demon.
Well, I got to tell you, this house is no bueno.
Oh.
So one year, her sister came home from a party with a friend of hers. The friend was driving, and as they parked in front of the house, the friend's strange ex-husband, who is on has an ankle monitor, came up and shot her in the head and killed her in front of this house with their child asleep in the back seat. So my friend played. She played dead, and she was holding her hand, so she played as if she got shot too. When my other friend who also lives in the house, she heard the gunshot. She came out and she saw the guy run right in front of her. He's wearing a Raiders jacket, all black, and he just ran across. Very sad. Many people thought the rest. They're like, they see a green mist in the middle of the night in front of their bedroom. That whole thing, they think it's her. Right?
Yeah.
So years passed, and they live in a cul-de-sac. Years passed, and me and Voldemort went, and we're like, well, we're telling this girl, hey, let's go out. It's, because her boyfriend's out of town. Let's 3 of us, let's go. And as I'm sitting on the couch, I'm sitting on the porch, I see a black shadow run in front of me. So I kind of stared at it for a while, and I kind of shrug it off. And my friend says, you saw that, didn't you? And it was equivalent to the movie Ghost. Remember the shadow who grabbed him and took him? That. It was almost like a triangle, and it moved quickly. It's one thing if I see something. And so my rational brain went to Jeff and said, well, one, I'm not smoking. Right? 2, it's a cul-de-sac, so it's not a headlight turning and hitting a stop sign and getting this. So my scientific mind was like, okay. No, nothing. But for someone else to say, oh, you saw that, didn't you?
Right. Yeah, that validation.
Once again, it's a validation. So this house is a 2-story house, and 2-story houses can be creepy if already as it is. The boyfriend used to fall asleep downstairs, and they would sleep upstairs, but she would hear footsteps going up the stairs, never opening a door, thinking it's her husband coming up to go to bed. She would see, those little bouncy balls that when you bounce, they light up. Sitting in the middle of the room, her kids just start glowing, lighting up the room without anyone moving it. She would wear pigtails. She would put her hair in pigtails to go to sleep. One night, she was sleeping. She felt somebody tug it, and her name, and she heard someone say, Susie.
Hell no.
At the same
I'm never going to do that ever again. I'm never going to do pigtails ever again.
At the same time, I was watching TV once downstairs, and her nephew at the time was about 6 years old with a Rottweiler. And she was standing right next to the Rottweiler, and they're staring into his grandparents' house, bedroom, which was pitch black, and just staring. The dog and the kid. And the whole time as I'm staring, because I'm looking behind me and see what they're looking at, and as they're staring to darkness, they both do this. As if they are literally seeing something that's catching their attention in the pure darkness.
Oh, head.
So
my
yeah,
dog does that to me all the time. God damn it.
well, you know what?
And
I
Jeff,
don't know
you
what
live
to tell you.
alone, brother. So you better. And you live in the top floor. You better.
Well, one is your dog smoking, and two, so you know,
And Jeff's also
Possibly contact
partaking.
high. Possibly
it's a
Jeff's
contact
also
high. So what it
partaking.
is.
So
Could be.
There you go.
Oh,
And he's
state of
a
Maine.
little old. He's like over 12, 13. So yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I'm going with that. You smoke the devil's lettuce. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I look at I to his defense, if he's old, I do the same thing too. I stare at my wife and I look at my wife and I kind of cock my head to the side, you know. So listen, you know, the thing is that yes, houses can be haunted. Yes. Do I believe? Absolutely. Do we all think that we're the only presence on this earth? No. Do I believe in aliens? Yes. Do I believe in the Loch Ness monster? No. See, that's the funny thing. Because if you think that we're the only beings in this universe, that's it. Just Earth.
Yeah.
Earth is the only ones that have two people who walk and talk and do podcasts. No. No. It's so much big, but yeah.
Aliens out there with a podcast somewhere.
Trust me, aliens are up there.
They're giving
trust me.
advice.
I mean, if you believe in multiverses and different dimensions,
yeah.
And there's at least 9 different dimensions. They're
Sure.
saying that occupy the same space. It's not impossible that it could be something else that's just kind of phasing through the dimensions.
Yeah.
Sure. What 100%? As a matter of fact, the house I was telling you about my cousin in Mexico that's all messed up. He'll be watching TV, sees his mom go into the bedroom, into her bedroom, goes to the kitchen. There she is.
Wow.
And he's like, or he's followed her into the bedroom to talk to her. She's not in there.
Wow.
She's not in there. But he straight out saw her go into the bedroom. Why else would he get up and go talk to her in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Doppelgangers are the worst. And mimics and doppelgangers. If you ever hear someone call your name, or if you ever hear your wife or your husband or your whatever say your name and you know for a fact they're not in the house.
That happened yesterday with me and my son. I thought he said like "mommy," and I didn't respond because I usually don't. If I don't see him like saying or something, I know he's there. I don't answer. I learn.
You never answer your name. Don't turn around, never acknowledge it.
And when I got down, like we're upstairs, I got down and I asked him, "Did you call me?" He's like, "No." And he told me, there's sometimes that when you feel that somebody calls you and then you go and it's like, "Did you call me?" And they didn't call you. Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, well, that just happened, Mom. Like, I didn't call you." I was like, "Oh."
I'm gonna set myself on fire these days. Because it's just not right.
It's creepy.
We could talk. Listen, you could fill hours upon hours.
Yes.
You don't even touch on locations. You don't even talk about.
Yes.
We talked about
Yes.
Doll Island and up
Yes.
in. There's so many places that are just wrong, but why do we go? Why do we watch? Why do we?
I think we like that rush,
Yeah.
We like that rush of
what it
the
is.
unknown that we don't know. Like I said, like I get scared of this stuff. I'll probably have a hard time sleeping tonight. But here I am. The guys know that I am obsessed with Jack Osborne and his shows and stuff like that, like his paranormal stuff, because for me, he's the one who's the most legit, compared to the other stuff. But I watch this. I still do it. I still watch it.
Yeah, we're gluttons for punishment.
We
want to know it. We really want to know.
We disbelieve in that kind of stuff, but we go to these places in the hope that maybe there is something that we can't explain that we don't know about yet, and we want proof. And so we go to these places because I mean I've told them before, I've been to a lot of different places that are very haunted. I mean, like historically haunted. Different houses, different mansions, different just grounds where hella people died. So like, and I don't know if it's a morbid thing for me. I just think it's because I've been told these ghost stories from my grandfather when I was a lot younger, and so he made me believe that there are other things out there that we can't explain. And on top of the whole my family's curse stuff, um, and so I just think I wanna find proof,
Yeah.
but without really believing it though, like really believing it, like full heartedly. And I like I have relatives tell me, oh, my grandparents just visit them in dreams, and I was like, fuck, that never happens to me. and I was like, so like I just wonder about it sometimes. Like the only thing I can be close to what Lucy has, like her dreams, is I always get this feeling, and it's happened 3 times already. A year before, I've had 4 grandparents, luckily, and most people usually do, but all of them were alive for a very long time in my life, and 3 of them have passed away within the last 10 years. 2 of them within the last 5. And before they passed away, within a year, I wouldn't always, I wasn't the type of kid that, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with my grandparents, right? Like they lived far enough away that it would take an effort to go visit them all the time. And so I didn't visit them that often. And within a year of them passing, I got this feeling where I need to see my grandparents, or I need to see that particular grandparent. And so I did, and then within a year, they're gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's intuition. I don't know if that's God. I don't know if that's the universe telling me I need to do something before I regret it.
Yeah.
Right? Like regret the time missed, or the time spent, or enjoying seeing them, enough times where I'm like, I can fully be aware and happy with what I've done before they passed away. And I don't know if I'm more sensitive to that, but that's happened 3 times. I only have 1 more grandparent left.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I'm starting to get that feeling already.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
take advantage of it and be there.
She has dementia, so she doesn't even recognize me sometimes.
Okay.
So it's it's kind of weird. I wouldn't say it's make believe if anybody ever told me that.
Yeah.
That they thought, oh, I got premonitions or stuff like that.
Well, like kind of like Caesar was saying, it's just like that one thing that is telling you, like you sense, that it's like make a left, like
it's a little push,
sweet.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The universe constantly, what people are not realizing, that the universe is constantly giving us signals, signs, but it's up to you. It's up to us to listen or not listen. So when that time happens, then you start to reflect, Jeff, right? You go like, God, I don't understand why I should have. But when you look back at going, I always had these feelings. I always had these dreams. I always this and that.
I always listened to my
chose
intuition.
to ignore. Yeah. And now it's the time, especially the older you get, you start to want to listen more and take things more serious. When you hear any signals I get, I fucking go for it. I life is way too short. Many of you guys don't know. I had a heart attack January 31st of this year.
Damn.
Heart attack at an airport.
That's scary.
I would have died at the airport. You guys would have been reading about some dude going to a Comic-Con, MegaCon.
Oh, wow.
I was on my way to MegaCon.
Oh, no.
So I had a heart attack. 100%, my Widowmaker, 100% clotted.
Yeah.
Okay. That's normally death.
Wow. Yeah.
So
that's the Kevin Smith thing.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you, for the love of Odin, I survived because I was meant to survive, but the doctor says you would have either died or lived. That's it. You didn't have any whatever. And now I'm looking currently out of a job, but I'm not stressing over it, because when things like that happen, your perception, your perspective of life changes. It's okay. I'll find something. It's all right. Guess what? I'm here. I'm able to have a podcast with my new friends and get to enjoy this hobby.
Yeah,
because I'm still here.
You got a lot to enjoy behind you, sir.
Yeah,
I have. You haven't even seen the other. You haven't even seen the higher up. But either way, we have to listen. Premonitions, dreams, gut feelings. If all of a sudden you get that dream of, oh, you know what? I just had a dream about an old friend of mine. You know what? I'm going to look him up, just for shits and giggles. I'm going to just look him up on Facebook, see what's going on. I'm not going to have to call him, but doesn't mean you have to talk to them. Just look them up, see what's going on. You know, so I dreams, premonitions, and all the stuff, and you, Lucy, saying that you don't have powers, but it's kind of like powers.
Yeah,
Lucy has powers.
We all have that, but Lucy some are just stronger than others, right? And I believe I have a friend of mine who sees aura. She sees color around people.
Yeah,
you know, and we live in a society where we can talk about these kind of things. Remember back in the old days? I'm not gonna say shit because everyone's gonna think I'm crazy and gonna sit in an asylum and give me
throwing holy water at me.
But you got to remember, back then they had asylums. They had those place mental facilities where they lock you up for life, basically.
Yeah,
and you can't even get out. You have no rights. And
that's right.
And that's why people would never repeat these kind of things in public. It's a stigma that would stick with you forever.
You're known as the loon of the group, right?
Oh, that's my crazy cousin.
That's my crazy cousin. That's the one who sees ghosts. That's the one who talks this. That's the one who hears things. But we live in a society now with social media where there's so many ghost shows and podcasts and what have you, that it's okay. It's norm.
Yeah.
You start to find out, just like this community that we're in.
Yeah.
It's not just for geeks and nerds. It's a serious hobby, and it's a serious
investment.
Business.
It's an investment in career.
Yeah.
But back in the day, God forbid I collected comic books or whatever. Oh, I have two friends. Now there's Facebook groups.
Yes, dude.
Now there's Facebook groups and podcasts and everything that we do because of this. So it's okay to just be who you are and shout from the mountaintop if you feel anything. Now you have a venue to talk about. Yeah, I had a ghost story last night. Well, come on my show and let's talk about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is it, kid?
I kind of mentioned, you were talking about mental facilities 10 minutes from here. I mentioned it before. There's LOEs. It's one of the most notorious mental facilities in the States. They did some horrific things in that facility, and it's super haunted, and they do haunted tours.
Sure.
I will bring some footage from that next time. And I'm also going to a Halloween village on Thursday, so I will have all kinds of amazing spooky footage for you for that. You would love this place. It's like you walk into Halloween Town. Like they turn the whole Henry Ford estate into a massive spooky village. It's amazing.
I miss Halloween Town in Burbank.
Yeah.
I miss that place.
Yeah.
We don't have that here.
I wish I could remember the mental facilities I've actually been into that were abandoned, and we would go in the middle of the night.
So many.
I can't remember the places.
So many.
Oh, God.
So many, even hospitals. Yeah.
I wasn't even dared to do it. It was like, let's just go. It'll be fun.
I was just
you do when you're young and stupid. You do all that.
I was just duped and had to stay the night there.
No,
you had to stay the night there?
I don't know if I'd ever stay the night anywhere like that, just because anybody could come in.
Next to like the facility, there were dorms because the facility got changed to a college.
Oh.
So they had like dorms. It's like
no.
The university, the dorms, and then on the other side there's like a place that's gated that's called Scary Dairy.
Ooh.
Okay, you told me.
I know.
Yeah. So I had no idea my cousin lived there. Huh?
Remember like the haunted cow? When you said the scary dairy, I'm like, was it a cow?
They're not
Like,
saying boo. They're
Yeah.
saying
Boo.
boo.
Boo. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god! Oh my god! Well, this was so. I love this. I love this so much. You know, I Caesar, I'm so glad you're here. And hopefully, if you're available next week, I will be my last show because I said only five shows, all I can do.
Well, let's see. Let's see what we can. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, if you're available, we do. I did say that we wanted to do this kind of like was it a graph that the favorite movies
Yep.
Which one will win as a scary movie?
Yeah, we did that on my podcast. We did a bracket
yes.
We did the exact same thing. We did a tournament like March Madness bracket.
Yes. I saw that somewhere.
The Shining, I think I forgot what one, but it was between The Shining and one other one.
Well, I saw this guy. Well, now he's a director. What's his name? I sent you guys the video. Like Keen and Peele. What's his name?
Peele guy.
Yeah, the one of them. You know, he did that. It was a video that I saw that he was doing that, and I sent it to them. And I was like, we should do this.
Yeah.
I saw that, so I was like, we should do this. This would be so cool. That's funny.
Yeah.
That you guys did that too. So like, I was like, oh, I don't know, just you see with other stuff. So I'm like, oh, scary movies, that would be cool.
We might do it one more time on the last show in October. Actually, because the last show was on the 29th.
Yeah, you still make it. Yeah, you still make it to October. With me, like if I do one more, it's like past October. That's why I was like, before
do it on All Saints Day.
Yeah, but yeah. So next week we can do that, and then Katie will have some stuff for us. If you're available, I would love to have you again. And if you have more stories, probably will be a little longer show than today because we're planning a lot, and it's our last show for the year. But again, this great stories, all of you. I love this. It makes me happy, but then at the same time, it makes me very scared.
Lucy, if you don't, just sleep with the lights on and with the knife. So, Lucy, if you don't mind me plugging my show.
Plug in you show. Yes, please do.
Okay, so the Comic Menu podcast every Tuesday night, 9:15 Eastern, on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We have 73,000 followers on Facebook right now for our page. Next week we have Aaron Bartling, Ryan Kincaid. We have the two guys from Comic Caps. We're going to come on. We're going to do a draw and charity for the Asheville that got smacked.
What's the name of it? Sorry to interrupt you. On Facebook, what's the name?
On the Comic Menu.
Comic Menu.
And then on YouTube, right? And then on YouTube, it's the Comic Menu, all one word. So we're going to do a charity for Asheville, and they're going to do a live drawing, and people can bid on those books. And that's awesome. And also,
Asheville,
once
North
again,
Carolina?
Yeah, they got smoked.
Okay.
And Helena just wiped them completely. And
I have
Aaron,
relatives who live there.
Oh, there you go. Aaron lives in a town over, and his church has been helping out that place. So he's donating all the money going to that church is going to the.
That's so nice.
And then for my little personal plug, I do voiceovers and promo reels on Instagram, so you could follow me there. And when people, what do I mean by voiceovers? I do movie voiceovers like in a world, 5 people together in one show.
You got to remember when you're talking to the young people, you got to let them know what that is.
They don't know what it is.
For a good movie or a bad movie. You didn't hear that?
Yeah, either or. It
sucks.
But I do that. People usually request that voice, but I do like Macho Man and Smeagol and other voices as well. So whatever you want, just let me know. But you can reach me out, DM me. I'm very cheap because I don't know what the hell am I doing. I'm building shit and talking to myself in mirrors. In a world. That's all I do all day. But thanks, guys. This was fun.
You should reach out to or I will talk to him to see if I can talk to him to Cover Price, because Cover Price we're doing a reel where they announce like the top 10 and stuff like that.
Oh
which
yeah,
I haven't seen lately, but they will do like they hire somebody to do the voice. So you should reach out to them, just to see if
That's
they
not a bad idea. So if you watch Cover Price and you hear number one, then you know it's probably me.
Caesar.
That's funny, man.
But yeah, I added the link on our comments for the Facebook page, and then from there you can find the other ones. I'll see if I can add it at the bottom of the show later on our description, so you can go and look up Caesar. And Katie, do you have anything else going on that you would like to plug in?
Yeah, I got a couple things happening. Saturday and Sunday, I have 2 shows. I have pushed my show back from today. So tomorrow, if you like Nosferatu and you like interesting, cool books with amazing arts, come check out my show tomorrow, because my homeboy Marco, who did my favorite book of the last 2 years, King Jiro, Hungry Like a Monster, will be on with his new book. So come check that out. It's one of my favorite things of all time. So yeah.
And boys, Jeff and Steve, in the same channel, you guys have stuff going on. You want to?
I think we will be. I think we're going to have the toy box Saturday morning toy box tomorrow, I believe. I know I got some mail calls, Jeff. I don't know about you, but you should bring those mail calls, and
I still haven't got my pre-orders.
NYCC is about to go, so there's some toy reveals that are coming up. So we'll probably go over pre-orders, keep you up to date, rifle through your wallet, and make you regret so
dangerous show.
Yeah, so make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for Toy Box. Am I saying it right?
Toy Box.
Yes. Saturday morning Toy Box. Comic Lovers. Am I saying it right?
Cover Lovers on Monday.
You see, I always say it wrong. I don't know why I always.
You got part of them right.
Yes, I don't know why I always say it wrong. Remember when I made the flyer? I even typed it wrong. I had to fix it. I don't know why I always do it, but it's on Monday. Check them out on Monday. And Comic Book Woman, we're back on a Tuesday for the runners up. And so next Friday we'll be back. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to give us a like, subscribe if you haven't. Follow everybody on social media. Thank you again, Caesar. Thank you guys for joining me, Katie, Jeff, and Steve. Besos. Good night.